So far this year on our farm, we've hatched 2 batches of goslings. The first batch has actually been living inside of our barn, and the second batch is actually living inside the brooder house over there, over by all the rest of the birds. I've initially kept them apart because there was such a difference in size, but because the younger birds are getting a little bit bigger and the older birds are getting ready to spend a lot more time outside, I figure in today's video what I'm going to be doing is mixing my 2 flocks of goslings together and ultimately having them all live together out in our brooder shed. I really hope there is no chaos in today's video. Good morning, teenage goslings. Oh yeah, you guys are definitely outgrowing this brooder, that's for darn tootin'. You know, I just cleaned this brooder yesterday, but it's pretty clear that they need a lot more space. These goslings are about 3 weeks old right now. They're definitely ready to spend a lot more time outdoors. I started by brooding them in here in the barn because when they were first hatched, things were still wicked cold every morning, and I wanted to give them just a little bit of extra warmth. But at this stage of the game, they're totally ready to be outside. As you've seen in previous videos, I've been bringing them outside every day just so they can get some fresh grass under their feet and fresh sunshine on their faces. So it's really been a positive. The downside is they don't like the transport method all that much. Okay, little goslings. Still gonna be okay, this is only temporary. Come on. Come on. You can actually see too, right? The adult feathers are starting to come through. Aw, you're the sad, loneliest one. There we go. Don't try to jump out. Please don't try to jump out. It's just only just a minute. We're only going a little further than we usually do today. Hey, Toby dog, I got some new friends for you.
Oh, heck no!
Oh, how's it going, my pal? You got all muddy, and I gotta brush you again this morning. Woo. Hey, Bruce, leave the little ones alone. Hey, get out of here, Brucey. Come on, box of babies. All right, time for your new daycare. You just jump out. Okay, come on. Out you go. Out you go. Out you go. Out you go. And hey, wait. Easy, buddy. Out you go. There we go. So the next thing I need to do is give them some water. The adults are fascinated with the little baby goslings. They're very curious about what's going on here. So they're happy to be on the fresh grass. They're a little intimidated by the big guys. The big guys are really just curious about them. It seems like these little ones are settling in pretty nicely, but as you know, they're not the only goslings we have here on the farm. Hello, little ones. Yeah, that's right. We've got another 8 goslings here. And these little ones, I feel like in the last day or two, just crossed that threshold where they went from fluff balls to baby dinosaurs. You can see they're not as big as their brothers and sisters here, but they definitely are sizable. Here guys, let me give you some fresh water too. The 2 classes of goslings are a little bit curious about each other, but I think these guys are just a little bit more comfortable with me. Aw, you still think I'm your mom, huh? That's adorable. Toby dog, if you want to come in here and hang out, you're welcome to. Good job, Toby. You've helped mix the two goslings together. And they're very excited to see me with all this grass. There you go, guys. Okay, guys, come on. We got fresh grass for you. Oh boy. The two best things for teenage goslings, water and grass. They absolutely love it. And I'm really excited to see the two classes of goslings starting to intermix without any sort of problems whatsoever. You know, people have a lot of anxiety with mixing different flocks of young birds who are still in the brooding phase. But unless there's a massive size disparity, I haven't found it to be too much of an issue. Now you probably noticed that I have about 16 goslings in total here. That's because we had the one gosling that passed away, the one that was the littlest gosling who wouldn't grow. And then I've sold off a handful of other ones. You know, one question I have received is, there was that weird gosling that I helped hatch. And you guys were wondering, did it make it? Did it survive? The answer is yes. Let me see if I can find him. Can I borrow you, little one? You can see him right here. You know, he's grown a lot in the last week or so. Ever since he was hatched out by hand. He looks strong and healthy. I think he's like an Emden Toulouse cross. He's actually grown bigger than some of the other goslings. For example, I have this little tiny bird here. She's the smallest of my flock, and I'm pretty sure that she's a female who is probably Pilgrim Toulouse cross, if I had to guess. It's just amazing to see how these little ones grow. We're just gonna let them be and get used to each other. Now, given how interested the adult geese are with our little goslings, you might be wondering why I'm not just mixing everybody together yet. And the reason for that is sometimes the ganders can get a little bit aggressive with young that they don't feel like is their own. And so I want to avoid that situation. You know, for example, you've got Justin Finch Fletchley, who's one of our ganders, and he's looking very curiously at these birds. He isn't quite sure what to make of them. By having them actually in this yard like this, where they're exposed to each other, but not having direct access, it keeps the little ones protected. Eventually, in the next week or two, I'll start opening that door and letting them completely commingle. Hey, little one, how'd you sneak out there? Hey, you're not supposed to get out of there. Get back in. That littlest gosling's probably still just a little too tiny for the big fence. I'm not too worried about it because most of the other goslings can't fit through these fence holes, and I'm pretty sure she'll stay with everybody else. I'll let them do their thing and get used to each other. By the way, if you guys are interested in buying goslings from us, they're still for sale. I'll leave a link to our website down below. The one thing is, I cannot mail them, I cannot ship them, I cannot deliver them. You've got to come to the farm to pick them up. So that's the one thing that if you want goslings from us, you got to be willing to do. But I guess on the upside, you get one of the rare opportunities to get a tour of the farm if you show up. And unfortunately, I can't offer everybody a tour right now because I just don't have the time, to be honest, guys. Things are so crazy busy around the farm right now, I can barely sleep. The chickens have adapted nicely to their new house. The first 2 or 3 nights, it took me some time chasing them in every night, but now they all go into the house automatically. Excuse me, Mr. Toby Dog. Hey, buddy, out of the way. Morning, chickens! What I really like about this chicken coop is that I don't have to use any bedding whatsoever. I just move it every morning to fresh pasture and they sleep up on those roosts. But as you can see here, this is yesterday's poop. There's like the marks from this. And after I let the birds out each morning, all I have to do is slide it along. And they've got some nice fresh bedding for the next day. They still haven't quite figured out how to use their nesting boxes, but I'm not giving up on it yet. Like, I think that red chicken right there is starting to think about using the red or black box as a nesting box for the morning. So I'd love it if you did that, sweetheart. So lately I've noticed one weird thing going on with our buff geese right now. Every time I open up the doors to release the quacking each morning. Release the quacking! It's like friggin' World War II in here. The reason for all the chaos is because the buff geese have started to use the duck house as their own personal nesting box. If there's one lesson I've learned around the farm this year, it's that if I'm gonna have this many geese, I need to have the proper nesting facilities to support this many geese. Come on, you guys, out you go. Get out of here. Go, 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 go. Here, I'll give you guys some extra food too. Toby, are you eating grass? You're becoming like a goose, buddy.